Prepare for Battle Royale match transport. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The safe zone has been marked. Please proceed to the designated area on your map. Welcome to the Dome, player. Good luck.
Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're taking an updated look at Islands of Nyne that just went into early access on Steam. This is a Battle Royale FPS. Now the first time I took a look at this game, it was almost a year ago exactly, and this was really the only Battle Royale that was offering a true first-person perspective. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds only had third-person perspective at that period of time, so it was kind of interesting playing a Battle Royale FPS for the first time ever. Now, over the span of a year, there's been plenty of Battle Royale competitors coming out with first-person perspective opportunities. How is this game going to stack up against the mounting competition? And is there even still a place for the indie developers in the Battle Royale marketplace? This game was kickstarted back in, I believe, December of 2016. It's running on the Unreal Engine, same as PUBG and Fortnite. And I mean, admittedly, the graphics just are nowhere near as good. The netcode is not quite as good. It's going to be hard for this game to compete on the same levels of the already well-established Battle Royale titles, and even compete with the new ones coming out from other AAA developers like Battlefield and Call of Duty. Really, it appears that the only way for indie developers to stand out is to innovate, come up with new game designs, new game systems that the big companies haven't thought of yet, and sort of take over that market. So what does Islands of Nyne do differently than the other Battle Royale games? Well, one thing that I really like, and I'm surprised that other developers haven't done this, is have a deathmatch game going on while you're waiting for players to load into Battle Royale. So you see in the top right corner, we've got the time ticking down here in Deathmatch, and we're filling up the server. So this is a great way to sort of get your aim on point, practice, sort of get warmed up for the match, rather than sitting around twiddling your thumbs. It's a great way to practice. Now, it is possibly one of the worst deathmatch game modes I've ever played, with just chaotic spawns happening everywhere, all over the place, and just crazy map design. It's wonky, it's crazy. It's not good as a standalone deathmatch game mode, but it does serve the purpose of getting warmed up. I think the developers, if you're going to have one deathmatch style game mode at the end, start of every round, at least maybe spend a little more time messing with the spawns and map design so it just doesn't lead to complete chaos. Might make it a little bit more enjoyable. Then again, trying to fit 50 players into a loading map for some balanced deathmatch game mode might actually just be an impossible task. Also, the game gives you a shooting range, so you can practice with weapons, understand the recoil and attachment systems prior to loading into a multiplayer match and picking up a gun for the first time and not knowing how it works or how to use it properly. So this is great. These indie devs are implementing things that, for whatever reason, the much bigger Battle Royales cannot add to their game, as they are very much, in my opinion, needed features. Weapon crates and cosmetic unlocks are also something that you can get in the game, although this is not anything new for shooters or Battle Royales in general, but it is in the game. Now, one of the things that I actually praised this game for in my initial first impressions that was about a year ago was the fact that the shrinking circle dynamic actually didn't move faster than players could move. And this meant that environmental deaths were almost non-existent. You could die from the environment if you ran outside the circle to try and flank people or something like that, but here the circle moves a lot faster than my player can move. Granted, I didn't realize at this point in time that you run a lot faster with your knife out, but even so, there's no way that I would have caught up with this circle. So I think sometimes the circle can be even more punishing, especially without the existence of vehicles or any tools to catch up to the circle. It can be a little bit too punishing, and I think developers in general should be shooting for 0 environmental kills during a match and just use the shrinking circle to force players to fight rather than dying to it. And that's something that I enjoyed about the initial design of this game, and I'm disappointed to see the developers go back on that philosophy. From a looting standpoint, I like that the game puts a bigger emphasis on fast looting and more on combat. You're not going to spend as much of the round searching and searching and searching for armor and shields and powerful weapons. You can usually get those things relatively easily and spend the rest of your time hunting and trying to fight other players. I like that about it. The inventory system isn't over encumbered. It is still a little bit wonky sometimes, switching attachments between guns, but it's just something you have to get used to as it works a little bit differently from other Battle Royale games. Now, the movement and combat style in this game is definitely a bit more arena shootery. You're jumping around a lot, you're zigzagging, you have fast-paced movement, and parts of the map feel like they're well designed around this concept, and parts of the map feel like they're still lingering from a game design that perhaps wasn't always based on the incredibly fast jumping movement style that is now seen in early access. I don't remember specifically my playtime with the alpha, what it was like, but I don't feel like it was quite as based on jumping and hopping and really quick twitchy style combat. It felt a little bit more slow paced, and the buildings in this map unfortunately lend themselves to really clunky combat, and the window placement, the head glitching that happens with the windows, the almost microscopic interiors of these buildings allowing for very limited movement and stuff. It just doesn't quite feel right somehow. It feels like they weren't really designed well to go with this game. And I feel like bigger open outdoor structures is the right approach with the fast, almost twitchy style combat in this game. Also, the time to kill is unreasonably fast in my opinion, especially considering that I've had full armor and even shields at points and died in it so quickly that I just haven't had any time to react to my attacker. That to me feels weird. It feels like looting and armoring up has minimal impact on firefights, and to an extent you could say this is the ultimate balancer. The only problem I have with it is that the TTK is just so darn fast that it feels like a full set of armor and shields doesn't have a huge impact. For example, in this clip here, I've got 4 things of armor, I've got 94% health, I hear a player nearby, I turn a corner, and I basically die almost instantly. It's not 1 frame, it's 2 frames or whatever, and he did get a headshot there. But still, it just feels like the combat's so fast, and in addition to that, I did get a hit on him, and it doesn't seem to register that on my screen either. So from a speed and time to kill and potentially netcode perspective, the game isn't feeling great. Again, it is an early access title, and I don't know what the developers are planning on doing with the time to kill overall, but in my opinion right now, it does feel a bit too fast. I will, however, commend the developers on massively improving the frame rate since I played in the alpha. The graphics are still kind of the same, but I was able to play at 1440p at mostly over 100 FPS. It's not the most impressive frame rate ever, especially given the graphics, but considering what it initially played at, the performance has improved tremendously since then. There was sort of a weird frame laggy issue that I was having. Switching the game into borderless mode and then back into full screen fixed that for me, but it was an issue that a lot of other people apparently were having, something that I assume can also get fixed in a patch or 2. Now, one of my initial critiques of this game was the visual styling. We're in this weird alien world that's using Roman architecture and medieval castles and villages, and I think there is Egyptian or Aztec at some point. There's sort of like a pirate village area. It feels like a really cheesy theme park, essentially, which is totally fine stylistically. You can make whatever game you want. Fortnite is very cheesy and campy. However, the whole design of Fortnite is very cheesy and campy. This game is using modern military weapons, but they have like weird glowing camos on them. And then there's this serious alien backstory where I think we've been like abducted and then put in these arenas to fight for aliens, but we're using modern human weapons and ancient architecture, like nothing Nothing makes sense. It feels like a really bad 1970s sci-fi movie or something. And I can't quite wrap my head around it. I feel like they would have just been safer going for an overall modern military feel. But I don't know. Here we are in this very, very campy, very, very cheesy aesthetic world that I can't say helps sell the game. I think there's probably a lot of people that are going to look at this game and think, oh boy, that's not for me. And that's unfortunate because I think there is some potential with the gameplay here. Anyway, I'm excited to watch the progress of this game as it moves through early access. We'll have to see if it can build up a fan base among the insane competition that is coming out this year and next. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing out.